So I thought it'd be kind of cool to do another Into the Infinityverse video, since I haven't really done one in a while, and I did the last one talking about who is the president in the Infinityverse. Again, the Infinityverse is the shared fanfiction universe that my friend and I, Jason Voorhees 2011, we work on together. But yeah, in the last video I talked about who is the president of that universe. It's not a real person, it's a character from the West Wing. So this time around, and I know I've talked about it before, but I thought I'd go in depth with not only like kind of giving any new subscribers curious about it, some information about Godzilla, but also what G-Force is like in the Infinityverse. So that's going to be the main focus of this video. Anyway, so let's talk about Godzilla first and the kaiju in general. So in the Infinityverse, Godzilla and the other kaiju are treated as natural disasters. They are seen as like, yeah, there's insurance for them, there's things like that. It's more Toho Godzilla than it is Monsterverse. I will say that, but the Monsterverse is out in the multiverse. But the Toho monsters are... Yeah, the Toho monsters are our main focus. Now, Godzilla has been around since that Godzilla was seen in 1954. It died, and then the Godzilla we see in Godzilla Raids Again, that Godzilla has gone... So there is no, like, millennium. It's all one consecutive timeline. So that Godzilla from Godzilla Raids Again has been our Godzilla all the way up to modern times. So, yeah. And anytime another monster shows up, it's treated as, like, you know, the year that movie came out is the year they appeared. So, like, what's a good example? Like when Mothra first made her debut to the world, even though, yes, she is an ancient animal, when she revealed herself to the modern world, that was in the 1960s. Same with Ghidorah. Like when Ghidorah the three-headed monster appeared in 1964, well, Ghidorah showed up in the Infinityverse in 1964. So that was their first... The movie they appeared in was their first appearance. So, like, Megaguirus, her first appearance was... I think Godzilla vs. Megaguirus 2001, 2000... Anyway, you get the point. So, that's the thing. And again, the kaiju themselves are treated as these natural disasters that you can fight them. Like, there are, like, preemptive measures, and even the superheroes do battle with the kaiju on occasion. But they aren't really, like... You can't really stop them. That's the thing, is especially Godzilla. You know, Godzilla and the other kaiju, you can, like, divert them. You can, like, face off with them, but you are not going to stop them. You know, the best you can do is, like, clean up after a fight, or when a monster goes rampaging through a city. So, there is, like, you know, natural disaster funds and things like that. Keeping, you know, because the world is, like, it's the monster's playground. And that's just kind of like kaiju in this universe are seen as like a hurricane or a tornado coming through. You can't really stop it. You just gotta brace yourself. Yeah, and again, the superheroes do try to fight them or try to divert them away, but they can't kill... Like, they've been unable to kill them. The other thing is, too, is that they're also kind of... The other thing is that kaiju, while there is, like, measures to try to stop them if necessary, there is kind of this viewpoint to some people that the kaiju are treated as gods. Like, they are, like, actual gods. And there's, like, religions, like, little religions and little cults built to, like, worship either, like, all the monsters or just Godzilla or just one singular monster as their god. So, yeah, you don't really see that in a lot of kaiju media where, like, yeah, they're godlike, so of course and it has been said especially in the Monsterverse, that, like, mankind, like, worship these things, so of course there would be probably religions, new religions based off of them when, like, yeah, I didn't see God, but I saw Godzilla. That's real, I can see him. Anyway. So that's the driving point. Now, on the other end of that spectrum, let's talk about some other... Like, let's talk about the monsters that you see, like, from Powerpuff Girls. Those are considered kaiju, but they're more like a B-class kaiju, where they can be stopped by superheroes, and there is a Monster Island for them, but they stay far away from the Monster Island that is more of a that's more treated as like a home for Godzilla and the other kaiju. Those monsters, like you see in the Powerpuff Girls universe, those monsters kind of just are, like I said, considered like B tier compared to the Toho era monsters. So you have that going for them, and they tend to, like, whenever they see, like whenever a Powerpuff Girls kind of kaiju is trouncing through the city and just like, oh shit, I hear Godzilla, I'm gonna go. That's how it's treated. So those are just a few things here and there. Let's talk a bit about G-Force. G-Force in this continuity is, again, the main source of anti-kaiju and kaiju relief in this universe. While the superheroes do help with fighting the kaiju, as well as like lending aid to G-Force, or G-Force lends aid to them, vice versa, and as well as helping with clearing devastation from a kaiju attack. G-Force in here, while it is based in Japan, the main HQ is in Tokyo, Japan. It's international. It is this international effort, and there's bases all over the world. There are like legit bases all over the world, and their whole thing is to research and develop weaponry to stop further kaiju advancement, and also like keep devastation and loss of life at an all-time low. So you may be wondering, well, who's in charge? Like, who is the leader of G-Force? In here, it's Yakane Yashiro, who most of you guys would know best from Godzilla x Mechagodzilla and Godzilla Tokyo SOS. She is the director of G-Force. She's the new director. There has been other directors, but right now she is like retired from Mechagodzilla piloting to leading G-Force head on. She also has Miki Sagusa as deputy director. Yeah, Miki Sagusa in this universe, she is the second in command of G-Force. Like, yeah. And they kind of like work in tandem, because while Akane is more like I'm gonna fight these things head on, she's like the heart of G-Force, and Miki is the mind. She's the rational side. She's the one who's like, yeah, these monsters do, I'm not blind to what these monsters do, but they're, they also do a lot of good as well as, with the bad. We got to take that with the bad. Not all of these monsters are evil. Some of them actually protect the planet. So, while they do butt heads at times, they are agreeable, and the two of them work in tandem to lead G-Force. Now, as for other members, you see, I talked about this in the Jurassic Park video, where in this continuity, there is no Fallen Kingdom or Dominion. There is what happened on Isla Nublar in Jurassic World. That killed everything. So it's now been bought by McFist. He's kind of using the genetic material for future endeavors, and the island's just kind of treated as the Savage Land. But the reason I bring it up is because those characters from Jurassic Park and World, a lot of them went to go work for G-Force. So like Dr. Grant, Sadler, Harding, Owen, like all these characters from Jurassic Park, all these different characters from Jurassic Park, they all went to go work for G-Force because kaiju are ancient animals. A vast majority of these kaiju, outside of like Godzilla, a few others, and the space monsters, they are ancient and prehistoric animals. So it would make sense to have actual paleontologists and people who understand what megafauna is and what these animals think about is kind of vital to have on your team. So yeah, they are. And yes, if you're wondering, Heat from Dr. Tsopoulos and the other characters from Godzilla the Animated Series, they're here. Zilla is a monster in this universe. The 98 Godzilla movie happened, and yeah, he is a part of, as well as like Hicks, he got brought into G-Force as well. Like I said, it's an international, G-Force is treated as an international effort to combat kaiju. Now, like I said, there's also like some other characters outside of like Jurassic Park, like there's also Matt Hooper from Jaws, who is working on a device to sonically divert kaiju. This universe's version of the Orca from King of the Monsters. Now, I will say that among other things, G-Force also has Mogera. They have They have Mechagodzilla 2 and Kiryu, but Kiryu's getting updated with some new technology, which I'm not going to go too deep into. But yeah, they have Mogera. They have They have now a fleet of Super X's, and they all again, they're working on other stuff as well to combat kaiju, and that's kind of the big driving force here. They are that's the whole thing. And also another thing is that Godzilla monsters aren't the only monsters in this universe. Like I've said before in other versions of this video, Godzilla isn't the only king in this universe, and also he's not the only guardian of this universe. So those two and their rogues galleries are out there somewhere waiting to be introduced, but not yet. Anyway, so there you go, guys. That's the Into the Infinityverse on Godzilla and G-Force. You guys let me know in the comments below what you guys think of it. Comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.